Up to see, they had virtually nothing.
So good evening and welcome to Wisdom Wednesdays. Today we discuss how a plant-based diet can save a nation. And with us we have the founder chairman of Samahita Nature Foundation, Ananda Mahikanda. Welcome, Ananda.
Thank you.
And you know, on the panel today we have Selvi, Fazana and myself, along with Ananda, because we want to give him as much time to explain to all of us about vegetarianism. As an athlete, I was extremely curious about world #1 tennis player, Novak Djokovic. You know, his attitude to food for high performance and his switch to a plant-based diet. However, Djokovic supplements as and when he has to, whether it's minerals, healing treatments, salts, etc. He's totally convinced that his attitude to the game, his mental strength, and high performance is due to this switch. Again, as an environmentalist and conservationist, I'm convinced that livestock farming has a vast environmental footprint. You know, around 18% of human-produced greenhouse gas emissions worldwide is due to livestock farming. And the magnitude of this percentage is due to the emissions of large amounts of methane and nitrous oxide. Both result in greater global warming. So, you know, I'm in a bit of a quandary. Factory farming is actually abusive to animals, and preparing them for the table can be quite inhumane. Having said all that, I'm not a vegetarian, except for the last, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 years. For 40 days of the year, I try and go vegetarian. I think it's the hardest thing that I do. But I'm always looking for better performance, better mental strength, etc. So I'm very, very open-minded to what Ananda will have to say today. Now let's ask Selvi and Fazana, before we move to Ananda, let's ask them what they feel about vegetarianism. Selvi, do you want to say something? You have to unmute yourself, Selvi. Thank you. Selvi?
Right. Thank you, Carol. And I think you underlined the problem quite well. Although you are so convinced, you're still not a vegetarian. And the same case with me. My problem is whether you are compassionate, well, you value life, an animal lover, an environmental advocate, or want to live your healthiest life, being plant-based is the only solution. And why is it that so many of us are unable to actually become vegetarians? Because it is so compelling for us to become vegetarians, because of so much of benefit, not just for us, but for the planet, the environment, for the animals, for the health, and so on and so forth. There are so many advantages, and maybe there are a few disadvantages, but still, we are reluctant to go that way. I mean, I'm a meat eater. I'm not a meat eater, sorry. I stopped eating meat a long time ago, but I still can't give up my seafood. So I think Ananda has to tell us why this is that we are clinging on to this.
Okay.
Selvi, I was also a pescatarian. I was also a pescatarian for about 10 years, eating only seafood. and now switched back to bits of meat here and there. But yeah, I wish I could be a vegetarian because I have read that the earliest reliable evidence of vegetarian theory and practice in Greece dates back from the 6th century BC. And also, there is no nutritional need for humans to eat any animal products. Apparently, there's a famous research done in South Africa where they didn't find a single case of rheumatoid arthritis in a community of 800 people who ate no meat or dairy products. So I think there's so much of advantages in being vegetarian. I mean, it reduces your blood pressure, right? Hypertension, it avoids type 2 diabetes, so much of advantages, right? I'm sure we'll hear a lot more from Anand, right? So yeah, I mean, I'm not a vegetarian either. Yeah, so this panel, all three are not vegetarian, but it is what it is, and we learn from you and maybe adapt, maybe gradually over.
I think, we are very open-minded to all this. We are talking about wisdom wellness on this series. And the reason being, we all want to do better. You know what I mean? Even for our personal personal needs to do better. So Fazana, would you like to introduce Ananda to our audience, please?
Yes, thank you, Karen. So Ananda Mahinkanda is a nature lover, mediator, and a strong advocate for compassionate and healthy living. His passion is to educate the public as to how a plant-based diet can cure many chronic non-communicable diseases. He treats this to be an integral part of curing our sick motherland, which has 75% of all adult deaths due to non-communicable diseases. He's a regular attendee of the well-known Vegan Summerfest annual conference held at the University of Pittsburgh, Johnstown, Pennsylvania. He has also participated in many presentations on Sri Lankan national TV and social media. He's also an accountant and a business administration professional, and the founder chairman of Samahita Nature Foundation of USA. Is an international advisor to the Sri Lankan Avihinsawadi Mahasangamaya, and Ananda resides in California. It's very early for him, and we really appreciate him joining us today to share his wisdom. Over to you, Ananda.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity to come and talk to you all. First of all, I have to thank two people. One is Bhikkhuni Uplavanna. So she introduced me to Soraya, and then Soraya wanted me to come and talk to you here. Let me give a little introduction about myself when it comes to eating meat, and how did I get out from that. So I have been a meat lover too. I have been eating all kinds of meat. I have been living in different parts of, in Kenya, particularly when I was living there with the family, we got like giraffe meat and crocodile meat and whatnot. Now, there are famous restaurants called carnivore. It's a very upmarket restaurants. You get to eat anything. I have not eaten lion meat or cheetah meat, but pretty much everything I have eaten. But back of my mind, I had been thinking always that I'm not doing something right. We are eating these sentient beings. We torture them, we kill them, and what right we have to do that? So anyway, one day, so we determined, me and my wife, when we were living in Dubai at that time, we said, no, let's stop this. But I couldn't continue that. I was forced to eat again, but my wife continued. That was in 1998. But in the year 2000, January 1st, I thought, no, I'm going to stop it. So I stopped eating meat and fish just for the purpose of animal cruelty and, animal concerns and things like that. But I was in the majority there because I thought at that time we need to have protein, and therefore I've been eating eggs and milk. Then when we came to the United States in 2003, again, we have been continuing the same, I'm sorry, the same, eating patterns. Then in 2016, I got the opportunity to attend a very, very important program that's called Vegetarian Summerfest at that time, 2016, Vegetarian Summerfest. Now it is actually Vegan Summerfest, by the way. There I listened to my first lecture. The lecturer was Dr. Michael Greger. So Dr. Michael Greger gave his life story at that time. I think actually my main objective is to introduce these great people. We have a lot of resources, and I'm not going to talk about all these things myself. I just wanted to introduce certain resources so that we can go into these, documentaries, these lectures and these lecturers, speakers, and we can find the details by ourselves. So this doctor story was fantastic. When he was a 9-year-old boy, his grandma was admitted to the hospital with a heart attack. So the doctors basically has written off and said that, can't do anything at this time. The situation is severe. So please take home and give whatever she wants, and she might live another couple of weeks, 1 or 2 weeks. So they had to bring the grandma home. And, but still, they showed her to another doctor, Dr. Pritikan, I believe at that time. And he said, hey, just stop all the meat. Just go plant-based immediately. So they did. And believe me, he says, this grandma lived another 30 years up till the year 1995. Till 95. So this happened when she was 65, I think. So then Dr. Michael Greger, so then he grew up and he went to the medical college, and he wanted to research this subject, this topic. And then he found what we eat. We are just eating poison with animal protein, with animal food. And not only that, so we are just really killing ourselves. We are killing ourselves. Then one might think, how come it is? Everybody eats. Yes, everybody eats, and everybody is getting sick. And we don't live longer anymore. We are dying longer. We are really dying longer. We get diabetes, we get we get heart diseases, and then we get bedridden and we live and giving pain to the entire family, your loved ones. So this is what is happening in the world today. I'll show a few actually slides. Going back to Sri Lanka, how can we cure this nation? I'll come to that topic a little later. That's the main topic. But let's see the background information about this. And since then, since 2016, I have been attending almost every program. Last year it was not held because of this COVID. And there I got this particular, let me share my screen. Now, do you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So now this is a very famous cartoon by Dr. Dean Ornish. Dr. Dean Ornish is the one who is running a lifestyle medicine program. He has an institute, and he says we have to treat people by changing the lifestyles. And he's the one who treated President Bill Clinton, his cancer. So this cartoon says that, see, 2 doctors are mopping the floor to clean the floor, and this tap is not closed then. But this is what is happening to our entire medical system in the world today. So we are just trying to treat the symptoms, not the cause. So what they have to do is to close the tap. Then you can clean this up. But we are not doing that. So this is very famous. So what is the cause for this? And if you go back, the cause is our food. When you say food, what food? Animal protein, animal food. Any animal food is not good for us. That's what these doctors say. I mean, if you go to our body structure, the body structure, human body is a herbivorous body. We are not carnivores. There are so many things to talk about. I just give few examples. You know, our teeth is not carnivore teeth. You know, they are very strong, pointed, sharp teeth. They don't have the grinding teeth in the back, the molars. So they have to just tear the meat and just gulp, and then they can't grind. But we can, like any other herbivorous animal. The way that we drink water, so when we drink water, we suck the water like any other herbivorous animal. But when the carnivores drink water, they have to put the tongue out and use the tongue to take the water in. You just imagine how a lion or a dog drinks milk, drink water. The jaws, you know, we can operate horizontally and vertically both, but the carnivores, it's only vertical, up and down. And the length of the GI tract, you know, our GI tract is about 5-6 times longer than the carnivores. You know, they have very short GI tract. It's about 2 times the length of the body. And their saliva, they don't have enzyme in the saliva, and our saliva has enzyme, so that we can start digesting cellulose, you know, from the plants. There are so many other things, and there are non-biological stuff also. Like, for example, now we have to eat all the time. Our bellies are kind of smaller, but the capacity of the stomach of carnivores are big, and also they can stay without food longer times, like sometimes days, sometimes months, weeks and months. Like crocodiles can stay sometimes 6-7 months without food. That's what they say. So there are so many differences, and clearly it is very clear that we are not meant for meat eating. We are not meant for meat eating. So that's the truth. So, and this has been told by many other great people, like see this Hippocrates. You know, he's the father of Western medicine. The father of Western medicine, Hippocrates. Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. Now, what food he's talking about? He's talking about plant-based food. He's a vegan. Not only that, if you come back to the present day medical experts. Now, this is Dr. Kim William. He's just immediate past president of the American College of Cardiology. He says there are 2 kinds of cardiologists: vegans and those who haven't read the data. So those who know the data cannot be a meat eater. This is Dr. Kim Williams in the United States. Now, this is Dr. Neil Bernard. By the way, let me tell you that I have met almost all these people, what I'm talking about. They are great. And actually, I worship them. I worship these doctors because they are doing a great service free of charge to the entire world, educating about our food. They are curing the diseases and the environment and the animals. So this is Dr. Neil Bernard. Now, Dr. Neil Bernard is, especially he is talking about dairy, how dangerous dairy is to our bodies. Let me tell you about dairy. Now, we think that we have to have protein, right? That's a normal myth that everybody is talking about. But just imagine no animal in the animal kingdom drink milk of another species. It's only human beings. How it is possible? No animal in the animal kingdom drink milk after the infancy. That again, his or her on mother's milk. So this is the truth. This is the nature. So the milk is medicine actually for the young ones, for the infants. It is necessary. It's important. You can't live without it actually, basically. But it is only for the infants, not after that. For the human beings, it could be 6 months, 1 year, 1.5 years, 2 years maximum. But what happens to us today? Like for example, in Sri Lanka, now we are importing milk powder. Milk powder is not milk again. We know that it's just poison. We are spending 65 billion rupees a year to import milk powder from New Zealand and New Zealand. So we are making New Zealand rich, making our people poor and sick. So just compare this 65 billion amount. When you say 65 billion, what can we do with it? Basically, if I just compare with that, education cost in the country, in Sri Lanka, we spend only about 40 billion rupees for education, 25 for the higher education, 25 for the normal education, and 15 for the higher education. Just compare this amount. So total 40 billion. Compare this 40 billion versus the money that we give to New Zealand for importing milk powder. So what we do, we import milk powder, we import this poison, and we eat poison, and we get sick. We get sick. Milk powder is anyway poison. If you want to check about the milk powder, you just go to GMOA website, and they have fantastic poster about how many diseases are caused by milk powder. So, but people don't know. People think, oh, we need protein, we need protein, we need protein. By the way, what is protein? Is it really necessary? Yes, we need protein. It's an absolute must. But have you come to know anyone who has died without protein? The problem nowadays is not protein deficiency, it's excess protein, fatty liver, and 70% of the people in Sri Lanka have fatty liver. So this is all because of meat and dairy and eggs. I request everybody to just go and check this. Check your liver today or tomorrow and see. And there are some simple basic tests, ALT, AST, and things like that. We can cure these. These are completely preventable by changing the diet. So what if we give this 65 billion rupees to the local farmers and tell them to grow legumes, chickpeas, cowpea, mungada, lentils, the ambara, dambala, and very, very protein heavy plants. We can eat them. And we have not been eating, actually, the Sri Lankans have not been eating this meat. It clearly says by Robert Knox. Robert Knox says that, he has a book, it's translated to Sinhala now, called Eda Heladiva also. His diary, it says the Sri Lankan people are very strange people. They don't eat meat. They reject it. They condemn it. So that is what we were those days. And that's the time, actually, we have been doing all these great things, making the best irrigation systems in the world, even today. These sculptures and whatnot, we had a fantastic time since Venerable Arhant Mahinda came to Sri Lanka till the time that the Europeans came. That's our golden era. So after the Europeans came to this country, they trained us, or they forced us to eat meat. They forced us to drink alcohol. They forced us to smoke also. So all these vices came from 1505. Anyway, so this is what, how can we cure? In Sri Lanka today, of the deaths, 85% of the deaths actually are due to non-communicable diseases. Non-communicable diseases. in the year 2000, it was 72.9%. And in the year 2016, it is 85.5%, more than 15% increase just for the 16-year period. And I was trying to check the data, the recent data, but I couldn't find in Sri Lanka. But the trend is going very, very, high, negative trend. So, and we can see that. I mean, just you go back to, the last 5 people, your close people, your friends who died recently, not COVID, the normal deaths, and see what they have eaten and what's their age. You see so many people dying at the age of 50, 60s. My sister actually died of fatty liver last year, 2 years ago, actually. She was 58. And when we went to her funeral, there are 2 other family members died. I mean, my relations, 2 people, all in the 50s and 60s of various diseases like diabetes and cancers and things like that. People are dying. We don't pay attention. The main reason is our food. So this is what these doctors say. Dr. Neil Bernard, I would kindly request you to listen to him. There are so many videos of this great doctor, Dr. Neil Bernard. And there are food for life, foods that fight pain. I mean, just listen to one of these programs. And he's basically talking about, I said, dairy products and why we get addicted to dairy. And earlier, I think Farzana, right, asked, they know the benefits of plant food, but we can't do that. Why? Because we get addicted. We, like in the dairy, you have something called morphine, morphine like a molecule, casomorphine we call it. Actually, not we are drinking milk, we are just actually drug addicts, frankly speaking, because of this morphine. So we get addicted to these things. Dairy is the most difficult thing to actually get out from. It's very difficult because of this morphine addiction. So don't think that you are eating your food or drinking your milk. No, it is you just is drugged actually, basically. So that's what Dr. Neil Bernard says. And there's another the same one here. And this is Dr. Colin Campbell. Dr. Colin Campbell, nutritionstudies.org. Now he's another great person that I really worship. He says cow's milk protein may be the single most significant chemical carcinogen to which humans are exposed. The single most chemical carcinogen. And Dr. Neil Bernard, Dr. Colin Campbell was a professor at Cornell, and now he's an activist. I met him. I have taken pictures with him. Such a wonderful human being. And so he the one who did this famous China study. Cornell University sent him to China, actually to do directed him to do a study to prove that the meat and the animal protein, how beneficial the animal protein is to your body. And his result was different. He said it's very harmful. And in fact, he was fired by the Cornell University also. Fantastic stories. So he's the same doctor. He says, I know of nothing else in medicine that can come close to what a plant-based diet can do. This is very serious. I know of nothing else in medicine that can come close to what a plant-based diet can do. Our great scientist Einstein also said the same thing. I'll get to that later. Dr. Michael Clapper. The human body has no more need for cow's milk than it does for dog's milk, horse's milk, or giraffe milk. So why we only drink cow's milk? Why not other milk? If you want protein, I think the milk of mice has 70% protein, I believe.
Can I just interrupt here? Sorry, but there has been communities which have been based on cow farming, like the Yadavas in India, who just lived for cow farming and milk and ghee and whatever, and about curds and all that. So the whole community lived on milk. How was it possible?
Yeah, it's a fantastic question. Some people basically live on meat. Like, for example, if you go to Greenland, Iceland, people eat all the time meat. And some people in India. But, those days, some or another, the body could digest these things, but not anymore. Not anymore. And also now, there's another Buddhist monk asked me the same question. How come even the Buddha's time, people drank milk? 2,600 years ago. Then I said, yes, the Buddha's time also, people drank milk. There were robbers, there were murderers, and there were people who abused women, and there were prostitution. All kinds of vices were there even that time. So it doesn't mean that these are right things. That's why those people came and preached against, you see. And we should see their lifestyle, how long they live, things like that. Like those people in India, I know, basically India is highly depending on dairy. So if you don't have anything to eat, of course, you can eat something. I know some elephants in Dambulla and cows in Dambulla, they eat plastic. It doesn't mean that it's good for you, right? Now, when you are thirsty, if you are given a glass of water and a glass of Coca-Cola, we might drink Coca-Cola because it's tasty and we like it. But if you keep drinking Coca-Cola forever, what happens? You will die of that. That's what's happening. Just because people drank these things earlier doesn't mean that we can do it forever. But actually, that's a very common question come actually here. But let's ask them to go complete plant-based and see how long they live and what kind of diseases they would get. You will see the difference. This is Dr. D. Nonish, the one who created that cartoon. Think about it. Heart diseases and diabetes, which account for more deaths in the US and worldwide than everything else combined, are completely preventable by making comprehensive lifestyle changes without drugs or surgery. Now, this is very, very important statement. Now, when I became a vegan in 2016, when I listened to Dr. Michael Greger, this is Dr. Michael Greger. When I listened to him, I said, oh my God, yes, protein. So we have been drinking milk and eating eggs because of protein. There's no one is dying without protein, actually. So I got to know, and also this innocent creature, this cow, cattle, how much suffering they undergo. We are a forum that talks about women. This female creature, they have to give birth to the baby every 9 months by force. They don't mate, So, and the moment that they get the baby is taken away. They see the baby only the first day. If the baby is a male, killed immediately, because no point of feeding the baby, the male baby. So if it is a female, then to give the same torture like the mother, they keep separately and give soy milk and other things and feed them with them and exposed to the same torture. So they suck the milk with the machines. The cow is screaming without the baby. Just imagine it happens to a human baby, human mother. How many things we would say, It's inhuman. If you really know the stories and how they have been tortured and what kind of suffering they undergo, we just can't really eat their meat, drink their milk. So that is the real situation. That's what we need to get into our mind, and then we can easily get out from this bad practice. This is the Dr. Michael Greger, who really taught me in his first lecture, my first lecture in that seminar. we should be eating fruits and vegetables as if our lives depend on it, because they do. And this Dr. Michael Greger, he has, I mean, all these doctors, what I mentioned, they have their own websites, fantastic stories and data. Now, this doctor has so many, I think more than thousands of videos, short videos. And you can go to his website, nutritionfacts.org, and ask your question there. Then you get a video explaining that. And this is that 9-year-old boy who, you know, who saw his mother, grandmother survived 30 years after changing the diet. Dr. John Mcdougall. High protein diets make you sick in the long and short term. Expect kidney disease, heart diseases, more strokes, and cancer. Plus, the weight loss is temporary because you can't stay sick for long. Look at the creators of those diets. Many are fat themselves. There's another great doctor, Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn. Actually, now this vegan movement, he is one of them, the pioneers, and also Dr. Colin Campbell, I showed the picture earlier. So these are the two doctors from two parts of the country. Actually, one is from the east and the one is from the north. They didn't know each other, but they bumped off them, you know, later on. So they are great pioneers. They are the people who really started talking about veganism, the plant-based food. Some people think the plant-based whole foods diet is extreme. 500,000 people a year will have their chest opened up and a vein taken from their leg and sewn on to their coronary artery. Some people would call that extreme. So, you know, most of the people say, oh, we don't have to be, we don't have to go to extreme, stopping all this meat and things, but this is the extreme. Why we allow you to, you know, open the chest open and, you know, do all kinds of juggleries inside your chest. So this is actually, these are the doctors. There are so many. And if you want to see the body structure, how it is different to the carnivores, you listen to Dr. Milton Mills. Dr. Milton Mills. I don't have his picture here. And so when you know these facts, and this is only the damage that you do to your body by eating, consuming these things. What kind of damage you do to the environment? Selvi was talking about it, methane emissions, right? So all the transportation in the world, you know, the cars, buses, aeroplanes and whatnot combined. And if you compare that carbon dioxide emissions to the methane emissions from the slaughterhouses, factory farms, it's 150 times higher than this, you know, transportation carbon dioxide emissions. It's huge. We are sitting on a time bomb. The world cannot sustain like that. World cannot sustain like that. The soil erosion, I can remember Selvi was talking about soil erosion in one of these earlier programs that Tyrell was talking about, you know, speaking. And we know the facts, but still we hooked up with this bad practice, you know, eating meat. And the animal abuse. Let me tell you, you know, we have 7 billion people living today on Earth. But can anyone guess how many billions of animals that we slaughter every year? It is 70 billion, actually 77 billion in 2013. 77 billion. It is more than 10 times the world population. So we have to breed them, we have to, you know, feed them, and we kill them. We have the resources to do that. 75 to 80% of the grain production in the world are consumed by the animals, the factory farms. The factory farms. So we have a huge food shortage. Of the 7 billion human beings, 1 billion is suffering from poverty. I mean, suffering from malnutrition. They have no food. They die without food. But see what we do. We produce and spend on animals to eat poison. It's a huge imbalance. It's a huge imbalance. And
So
we
Ananda,
are
excuse
saying,
me for a minute, Ananda. I'm looking at how Sri Lankans can face vegetarianism in a more positive manner. The crux of the matter is, what is it that's available to Sri Lankans that they should be eating more of if they're going to eat less of the the animal products, and also drink less milk. For instance, almond milk, it's a good source. However, almonds are not easily obtainable here. India, I think there are certain segment of Indians who are totally vegetarian, and they have for years and years known what to cook and what to give, how they can give each other a balanced diet. What is it that we can do in a practical sense that would enable more and more Sri Lankans to reach to that?
The practical things actually, Farzana, sorry, Carol, the awareness. You just see what is happening to your body. Firstly, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. So just because you don't have something to drink, it doesn't mean that you have to drink poison, right? And just go back to our history, what we have been drinking. It's a matter of time. So if you don't drink milk, it doesn't mean that you have to drink another milk. It's plant protein, and it's something coming from a plant, right? You can drink pulpala, you can drink tea, you can you can drink so many things. If you allow your tongue to do without milk, what you call morphine, just for about 2 weeks, you're okay with it. You're okay with it, and you can make this milk at home. I will, one professor from the University of Vidyodaya University was talking how you can make it at home. You take chickpeas, you take some cowpea, you take a few other things, and just grind it, keep it in your container, and use it. I will send that video.
I think if you can share some resources for us later, we will then post it on our webpage so that people can go in and take a look at it. Yes, please continue. Sorry, I had to ask you that.
Yeah, actually, how much time do I have?
You have another says 5 minutes in which you can present, and then maybe we can ask you a few questions, because we close in 1 hour exactly. So we have another 18 minutes. Thank you in total.
Okay. So actually, just to answer your question again, Carol, that if we don't have something to drink, doesn't mean that we have to drink poison. That's my simple answer to that one. And when you get out from these bad eating patterns, you will find the very important, our old traditional things that we can eat and drink. For example, recently I came across something. We talk about tea. They have glyphosate on tea, and it's kind of all these chemicals. So I came across, if you want to drink nice green tea, you use guava leaves, and just dry it up and grind it and just use as tea. It's fantastic, and it's really good for your body. It's a detoxicating drink, and antioxidant, and a lot of good things. So you find the food. Your mind is clear, and then you see, okay, what we have been doing in the past, what are the good ones. But now we can't do that because we have a lot of things to eat with this meat and animal stuff. So and I just want you all to know another part. Our parents, especially when it comes to the kids, because of this bad media advertising, they always keep talking about sausages and this milk. They think that if we don't feed children with meat or animal protein, then something will happen to them. But look at what these great scientists say. Albert Einstein is a vegan. So do we see any problem with his brain or with his intelligence? Nothing will benefit human health and increase the chance for survival of life on Earth as much as the evolution to a vegetarian diet. This is what Einstein says, right? This is Isaac Newton, Isaac Newton. So the great scientist. So he says, he's a vegan. I can calculate the motion of heavenly bodies, but not the madness of people. People like us. See, there are so many things, it's fantastic people. This is Thomas Alva Edison. Non-violence leads to the highest ethics, which is the goal of all evolution. Until we stop harming all other living beings, we are still savages. So this is what, there are so many people. And if you go to, this is Pythagoras, the greatest mathematician. As long as man continues to be the ruthless destroyer of lower living beings, he will never know health or peace. For as long as men massacre animals, they will kill each other. That is what is happening to us. I'm telling you. This is what is happening to us. Pythagoras lived 2,500 years ago, almost during the Buddha's time. There are so many Buddha's quotes. Actually, I remember Soraya mentioned something last program on the July 21st. These all great scientists. And what about the other great philosophers like Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Leonardo da Vinci, Charles Darwin, Leo Tolstoy, Martin Luther King, the recent people, Benjamin Franklin, Mahatma Gandhi, George Bernard Shaw. These are all vegans. These are people who had this, animal concerns, who knew about their health, who knew about the world. So why can't we in their group? We have the capacity to save our lives and our loved ones and the entire world and the animals. Anyway, so I don't think I have much time. I can talk about this days and days. There are so many facts and figures to show. I think
Yeah, thank you, Ananda. Selvi, do you have a question for him? Unmute yourself, please.
Selvi, unmute. We can't hear you.
Selvi, we don't hear you.
Right. Now, one of the things that many people don't mention is what happens to the human system, that is the energy body of the person when you eat meat. Because the thing is the psychological impact on the body and in the mind when you eat meat. Is there something that you can tell us about what happens to our energy body and how it differs from the impact of the meat based on diet on the same? Like what the vegetarian does to the energy body and what the meat does.
Meat kills you. And I suggest actually just let me go back to my slide. How do you do that? Here you go. I'll give some resources because I have no time to talk. Just few documentaries. Forks over knives. Cowspiracy, Food Inc., Eating You Alive, What the Health, Game Changers, Vegan 2018-19, there are a couple of vegan programs like that. Just watch one or two enough, I think. Just go to Forks Over Knives, or just go to Eating You Alive, or What the Health. If you, I can send this slide if you want.
Yeah, that would be good if you can share it with us, and we will share it on our webpage, on our Facebook.
They do so many things to our body, and it poisons us. It creates, the bacteria and whatnot. Our body, if you see the acidity of the body, we have a less acidic body and the animals, the carnivores have high acidity because they want to digest this. And our saliva do not have, have enzymes to digest cellulose.
So a lot of people have digestive problems, Ananda, and GERD, diseases like that. So are they related to, do you think,
Yes.
eating meat and taking dairy product?
Exactly. And our gut, microbiome is not meant for meat. It is not meant for it. And I think Kiral was talking about it, last time about the gut, and that creates lots of emotional imbalances, the gut sicknesses, issues coming from the gut. So these are all due to that. But and also on the mind side, Selvi, just think
Ananda,
about
sorry, Ananda, I have heard that, the agony that the animal suffers at the time of being slaughtered is actually, is registered in the body of that animal.
Yeah, but
it is actually that anxiety, that agony is actually passed on to us.
Yeah, let me tell you, I mean, it is real science. Let me explain. There are something, there are something called stress hormones, right? The hormones.
Stress hormones, yeah.
So it's coming from adrenal gland. I think the adrenal hormones and the cortisol. Cortisol is something that is produced by the body when you are in a distress situation, when you are in fear, when you are in anger, when you are in danger. The fight or flight hormone, we call it. So these animals, not only at the time of death, just think of a cow who is living in the small cages, or a pig. They can't even turn. Their size is 6 feet by 2 feet. And this poor innocent creature have to live the entire life in that little cage. Sometimes they bite the iron, frames, and, see the stress. So they—
Ananda, we have a question. Sorry, we have a question from Riley. He wants to know, please let us know what you think of fish eating.
The same thing. There's something called GMO and heavy metals. It's just the same. There is no difference between fish and I think it is less toxic, I think, but now it's coming from farmed fish, and also from seafood is, of course, it's poison again with various.
So if you're looking at high performance or people who are highly energetic, how do they derive their strength and energy from, for instance, I'll ask about me because I play a lot of sport. How do you get your strength and your bulk and whatever it is you require from a plant-based diet?
Yeah, just.
Or can you point us in the right direction to read about it?
Just listen to Carl Lewis, the greatest Olympian that we have ever had. If not number one, he's number two. And he says after he became a vegan and his performance was increased. Listen to Serena Williams, the tennis champions, Martina Navratilova, and whatnot. There are so many, and this the game changers. I showed you that slide earlier. Game changers tell you about your body and what this the plant protein does to your body. So that's what I'm saying. I can talk days and weeks about this subject, but that's why I gave you that slide about.
You're almost convincing me. Fazana, do you have a question?
Yes, I have asked a question.
Let me answer. Let me give just give me a second just to answer.
Sure.
He was talking about the mind and body, body, of course, and even the mind. And when Selvi, that I'm not harming anyone, I'm protecting environment, I'm protecting myself, I'm protecting my young ones, I'm not harming animals, I'm not giving any torture to this. Think what kind of a human being you can be mentally. You are very peaceful. And I don't know how many people can guess my age. I don't have any of I don't have cholesterol, I don't have sugar, I don't have joint pains, I don't have pressure, nothing, just because of this diet, thanks to those great doctors whom I, came across. So spread this message. This is the only way we can cure our motherland. Everybody's sick. There's no family in Sri Lanka without having this either a cancer case or a diabetes, cholesterol. Just check your family. How many people are suffering with these things? Just cure yourself. it's a matter of just controlling your tongue. We don't have to control the entire earth or entire world, entire universe, just only yourself. And I can remember Soraya said last time, you are the author of all your sicknesses, everything. So we have to have that determination. We have to have that knowledge, awareness. Then decent people definitely will get out from this mess. Right. Sorry, you're asking a question.
Yeah, Fazana. Fazana,
Just
muted.
wondering if you're going to, can you hear me now? Yeah. If you're
Yes.
going to like a plant-based meal plan, is there a kind of ideal diet per week that you use to get that number of calories and proteins and the energy? Is there something that you can share with our readers as well, which we can post on our page?
Yeah, it's basically you just eat whatever you get. Whole foods, plant-based. Now, when you say plant-based, don't mistake. Coca-Cola or soda is plant-based, right? Chips and all these processed food also can be plant-based, but they say plant-based whole foods. Try to get as much as natural food. And Tira, like I remember Tira was talking about different color fruit, the seasonal fruits and things like that. So these are the things you don't have to you need to have protein, of course, right? Protein. We need to have fat, we need to have cholesterol, we need to have alcohol, but all these things are coming from the food. We don't have to take them in excess separately. Sugar. So the problem what we have is excess sugar, excess fat, excess cholesterol, excess protein. So if we take the normal plant-based, so just to answer your question, we always eat paripu, we always eat mungatta, we always eat chickpeas, we always eat avaral, dambalam, beans, mackerel, whatnot. Lots of protein. And and kampu mukruan, they give all this, everything actually. So it's basically herbs, the seeds, grains, and fruits, basically. Fruits and vegetables, seeds and grains, and we are done with it. You just eat.
I have another question. Like in Sri Lanka, there's a huge issue in the way farmers use fertilizer. They don't use it in the right proportion. It's disproportionate, and they link it to the chronic CKD, kidney disease, and so on. So plant-based in the ideal form should be organic, right? I mean, if you have to really have
ideal, yeah. Ideal, of course, it's organic. And you can, I'm telling you, I mean, I have here kampu muknu, and I have all kinds of herbs and, things in my garden here, backyard. I don't have a huge backyard, it's a small place, but it still can grow. I'm telling you, the more you pluck, the leaves from these plants, it comes back again, not like, carnivore eating an animal. So that's the end of it. But we are so fortunate, the more you eat, the more crops can come from those plants. Did I answer?
There's another question that says, is there anything linked to different colors of vegetables? Which mineral to the color, etc.?
Yeah, the colorful ones are the best. Always eat different colors, fruits, vegetables. The more colors, better for you.
So, can you believe it? We are coming towards the end. Any last question you ladies want to ask him? And then we have to go to a close. Or is there something you want to share with us before we close, Ananda?
What I have to say is actually sincerely make an effort to go plant-based diet, and that will definitely cure our nation. There's nothing else that I can think of. We are debt-ridden politicians and whatnot, no point of talking about these things. At least cure yourself first. We are in control, and that part is under our control. Not on the politician, not on that. No, we are in our control. Our food. Find the right food for your body, and you will be saved, and your loved ones will be saved.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ananda. Much appreciate you coming today and sharing your knowledge with us. Please, as we said, share some of your links with us so that we can then post on our Facebook page and our readers can follow and get some ideas about what kind of balanced diet they should have and who they should read on to find out more information. You know, they say what you eat is what you are.
Yes.
And another couple of things I've heard is that if you eat seasonal foods, so you know that you do much better if you eat seasonal foods.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Ananda. You know, our next show is on the 8th of September. It's another one on wisdom wellness. So join us then. And to all who are with us today, thank you so much. Those getting on Facebook Live and YouTube, you know, all our shows on YouTube, they go on Wisdom Wellness, Wisdom Wednesdays, Sri Lanka. So you can pick and choose what you want to listen to. You can have it as background sound if you like. You don't have to sit and, you know, spend 1 hour in front of your computer. So you can just have it playing in the background. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And the last thing, just drink plenty of water.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You
Okay,
almost convinced us over here, I think.
Okay, thank you so much.
Good night from Wisdom Wednesdays. Fazana, myself, and Selvi, and Anand, of course. See you
And you have
next.
to stop sharing your screen.
Good
Yeah.
night.
Okay.
Good night. Bye.